Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the June Keys Penguin Habitat. My name is Michelle. I'm joined today with Jessica, and we're just finishing up our feeding of our penguins for their lunchtime version of this feeding. They have one more feed before we end today. Now, we have 23 penguins, 3 of which are juveniles, and the way that you can tell the juveniles is that they do not have that distinctive double black band on their chest, and there's one right there and one right there, and one right in front of me. Now we have 2 female and 1 male juveniles, and then 20 adult penguins. Now the reason why we band them is it's an easier way for you all to tell who's who. Come on, Fisher. Are you hungry? But another way that we can tell the penguins apart are the dots that are on their chest. When they get ready to start going into their catastrophic molt where they lose all their feathers, we have to take those bands off because they gain about 45% of their body weight. And so they swell up really big, and we have to take those little bracelets off because that can actually impede their movement. And so by doing that, we utilize their dots as a secondary way that we can tell who's who. Let me just give a stare this. No, you don't want that one. People often wonder what it's like feeding penguins. It's like feeding a 3-year-old. Sometimes they'll come up and they'll want it. They'll say they're hungry, and then they're like, no, I don't want that. I have a mixture of herring and capelin in this bucket. Some like herring, some like capelin. We pretty much cater to each penguin's need. So each one has a distinctive way that they like to get fed. Here comes Gats right now. He's our 3-year-old. If you were at the penguin parade, this is the penguin that we use for our penguin parade. Are you hungry? There we go. There's 1 and 2. Now, if you notice, he's swallowing that food whole. And what Jessica's doing is she's keeping track of how much each penguin is eating. So whenever I give food out, I let her know. I guess Patsy didn't want any. Come on, Dad. Come on, Andy. All right, Andy got another herring. Now, normally our penguins will eat anywhere from 3 to 5 herring a day, depending on the penguin. Whatever will eat only capelin, and she'll eat anywhere from 10 to 25 capelin every day. It depends. They don't eat the same amount every day, just like a penguin out in the wild wouldn't eat the same amount of food every day. But we will always offer that. Come on, whatever. Now, she's our oldest penguin. And our pickiest penguin, like I said, she only eats capelin, and it has to be a perfect capelin. So sometimes she'll put it in her mouth and she'll fling it away, saying, this is not good enough for me. Here is one of our juveniles, and I say juveniles because they are no longer babies, but this is actually Cleo. She had to commit to it. There's Cleo. Now, Cleo was just hatched in May. So they grow very quickly, and they have to, because once they fledge from their parents, they are on their own. They have to start figuring out how to forage for themselves. You want one more? There we go. Hi, Patsy. All right, so that's Patsy. Okay, so let me tell you about my friend over there. That seagull is a wild seagull, of course, and we have to be very careful. He can't eat it because there he goes. We have to be very careful because this is an open air exhibit, and we work really hard. Patsy is one of the ones that I think she has a deal going on with that seagull because she doesn't drop it until she gets to the water's edge, and he usually can get it a bit quickly. We pretty much foiled all of his attempts today except for that last one. So hopefully he'll be gone and won't come back. But Patsy knows that since she gave up her fish to the seagull, she's not going to be getting any more for this day unless I know she's going to eat it well. Penguins right now are in their migratory phase, and so they scare really easily. And so what will happen is if she perceives a threat, she's going to throw that fish down, let somebody else get the fish so she can get to the safety of the water. And she has already had quite a bit How many has Patsy had? Yeah, so her normal is around 3 fish a day. So she's already had 2. Are you going to come up? I'll try you one more time because the seagull's not here. There you go. That's... All right. And there's 3. Here you go. Nope. At least whatever has the kindness to drop it right away so it's an easier grab for me. That's Heidi. So some penguins like to be fed at the water's edge, and we'll allow that for certain penguins, some of our older penguins. Heidi here is not an older penguin, so I make her come up to the very bucket because what she does is that she will mouth the food and go, no, that's not good enough for me. I'm going to go back into the water. There are certain penguins like Robbie, Roxy, those different types of penguins who tend to want to only eat at the water's edge. And depending on the day, if it's a medicine day, I will allow them to get away with that. Kate, come on. Come on. Again, they've already had a full meal this morning, and so this is kind of to tide them over. It's like a little snack. Whatever's not fond of the microphone, so I have to always make sure to put it back. And what I'm simply doing is looking over and seeing the amount of food that the animals have eaten. They tend to kind of shut down, and once I see all the penguins just kind of swimming around, I know that they're pretty much done for this feed. Come on, Paddles. Now the water temp, you may get splashed, especially if they get frightened. The water temperature is around 60 degrees, so it is quite chilly. This exhibit is actually fashioned out of an exhibit or out of a place where these penguins nest in the wild. And what's nice about it is that it has the same type of water temperature as well as the structures. Hiya, Stare. Nope. But one thing it does have is it's a slant. And so when we do have the penguins hatch here at the exhibit, when we hit around 20-25 days, we're going to have to move the chicks and put them into our chick nursery because the chicks aren't completely waterproof. And if they get into the water, it can be bad for their health. And so around 20-25 days, we fledge them from their parents. We then teach them how to eat from us. And if you notice, the penguins come straight up to me, especially the youngsters. They'll come up, they get the food, but it allows us to start building that bond with them. And what that does is it makes it so that they understand that people aren't bad. When we do things like encounters, because you can do a penguin encounter where we have 2 different types of encounters. One is on the outside, one's on the inside, where you come in and you can actually sit pretty much where I'm sitting and interact with us and our penguins. But they understand that people are not bad. The penguins that came from other facilities that weren't hatched here are a little bit more hesitant. Whatever is one of those penguins. So you can see she's not as hungry as she thinks. She doesn't know if she really wants this capelin. What's funny is when whatever gets ready to go into her molt, that little bird will eat anywhere from 40 to 50 capelin. And a capelin is about this. So she can pack away 40 to 50 capelin in a single day. And I swear she has hollow legs because she can eat that and still be a graceful swimmer. Come on, Astaire. Let's try this one. Nope. And again, when I said when the animals are in migration mode, they tend to be very wary of different sounds. You'll notice that if one perceives a threat, all of them will start diving, except for the youngsters. The youngsters haven't caught on to what the parents or what the adults are doing, and they'll just kind of sit up top and kind of wonder why everybody's swimming around so quickly. Different things that we do here at the aquarium. We give our penguins enrichment. We train them to help us take care of them. So things like we give them scales that we ask them to weigh on. This is Robbie, who is one of my beach eaters. And if you notice, I toss him his food, but he's the one that likes to have it belly first. So each penguin has a distinct way that they like to get fed. As their caregivers, we make sure to remember each one of those ways and then allow them to have a nice feeding experience. You gonna come up? So that is whatever, and that's pretty familiar for whatever to come up and take it and run. Well, I'd like to say thank you all for coming to the aquarium. Your admission does help us take care of all of our animals. So for myself, Jessica, and all of our penguins, we hope you enjoy your day here, and we hope you have a very happy holiday.